Portney Sailor. Am the chosen people, the Lamb, spoken with the long ah of the children of that land, had spread out everywhere, and rebuilt the shattered remnants of their country, and established a golden artifice out of the black matter spilling from desert wells, and ornaments of oil rigging scattered around the hills like black holes. Randomly, I happened to find myself in Jorna, the city of thieves and passengers, said my guidebook. Hermits and messengers, pigeons of the diplomatic tradition, came forth into Jorna and remained for a short while amidst the worst of social situations. And only to find a timetable for scheduling an oasis, to wait as his spiritual essence moved to the holy zone of transport to another realm across the earth. I, Address Gulag Forensis, Portney Sailor, have arrived at 12:37, hour of the Lord Texas, and ransom and self-container for my travel across Elba, the land of the Lamb, as it's known in the north. Frozen hellholes burn in my memories, and possession by now seen semblances of psychic stargazers. But the passion projected a returned winning lottery number directly over my theater of war. Praise he who submitted in prayer my zone of sentience, later approached me in my labor and waitlisted me to attend Jorna for a century, and eventually my name came up. I hold testament of my travel thus far in these words, and document for my own peace of mind and heartbeat at ease, as the Hallandonic tradition of seers looks deep down into you and pulls out stately nerves which contain fears and relate only to past memories which well and create visions of the past but never the future. Hallucinogenic disorders trouble the people of my land, as I assume they do everywhere on Aerta and its satellite, except for the time-locked island of Elba. I arrived yesterday in an hour of stress, and lastingly they sent my corporeal frame out into the street, so geometrically aligned that the perfect fragment of my imagination took me out of where I was and automatically into my remembrance, and I saw only the frozen winterlands of the poles, and the words of the drills who they used to prove their theories, and the holes wherein ice picks chisel out ancient myths of hyper-beings of the past. And yet we travel into future words, and never into the past, as every generation holds amnesia for its singing and drinking nights, and never sleep, as the Durdrick has that effect. Archaeologically, the features revealed from the frost needed sentience in collaboration for their revelations to come to pass. And so I, for years of night, drank the helix liquor Durdrick, and never slept, but worked to demarcate the great pillars and inverted pyramids of the ice ancients. And aurora constellations up in the skies looked down always on us in our depressions along the frozen landscape, and blew winds to chill us, and worked against the warmth of our genetic draft. But Elba was warm, and rather than scientific excavation, they looked and utilized the sun, and rafters rang with subsonic copper rings vibrationally modified to electrically stabilize silicon batteries. New arrivals entered through the porthole of the time lock at Jorna, and wandered out into the street with their luggage or sacks of gadgetry for relinquishing mind-memory simulation coming back into visuality, i.e. the hallucinations which plagued me for years below the aurora found their way into the brain stems of every other remote country inside the rule of the Gaffas, projecting their influence outside Elba rather than amidst its own denizens who think in a free wheel of choice ordained by the truth of the Lamb. The sunny cityscape would appear and alarm me with its bright burning rooftops shaped like brushes painting the sky, and then fade, leaving only the underlying geometrical strivings of the sim, reminding me of the superimposition of my existence in the north. And I had to repeat my mantra again, that I was now safe in Jorna, away from the pits of nighttime capitals and desperate ice pickaxes. Away from the north and now on the sea, so green with curtailed algae which grows thickly on the waters of this place. The curated nature, elephantic trees freely growing in the center of the metropolis and spreading their canopy way out to the far ends of the city. The walls and beyond and into the spreading desert, nuclear slime mold communicators sinking into the sands and retaining in ropes the data between mind molds of the lamb's chemistry. And the man with the feather cap had met me in the street, and his wings spread out and vanished from my vision, beyond the lines and into a void in which I could not redirect my gaze. I tried not to look. I felt myself longing, in a way, to wander into where these little grids permeate into everything around and in my sight, and transform as little triangular energies translate quantum positioning into coded mathematics. And he led me down alleyways among the paintbrush buildings, and understanding their halfway to glory in Jorna, after all, the halfway house of the universe. Re-emerging geocentrism in the distant past, or else the second decade of the new millennial bankruptcy erupted in Egypt and recalibrated that system, and first ammonia molecules reverberated from the cyclic tunnels welling up from sepulchres, and the dead woke in number there, their bodies the most preserved of all in the atmosphere. And the spiritual heads related from volcanic ash assumed ethereality, and into the pyramid of painted facades, spilling light from tapestry woven out of fixtures set deep in the apses in themselves, and held the photonic righteousness in their triangular tops, and wove the sky into the swelling ground, feeding the trees with energetic healing. The Bhagavad Gita, among hymning translations around the globe, had flown the reincarnated lasting ancestors. He offered me a sniff or snuff of some kind. My bare feet stood in the dust of the sun-spent sand, which tingled in its random unwiring of my telescoping wristband. "Don't tell anyone I told you," said the bird-headed man with sandals, and afterwards disinhaled into my eye, which blew away while hundreds of tiny insects stung me, and for a moment I saw the symbols unlaid in the centers of the grid came alive, and spelled out side effects of my imposition in great detailed hieroglyphic sentencing. And I was out of my mind, and I heard my heart beating along the scripted rhythms, and at last I knew I was out of the simulacra. And then I was in again, and on my feet, and then on my hands, and retching on the sandpaper around. And I asked him about his hairs so fine in the spring hat that he wore, and he told me that alas its twine was stolen from an eagle feather genetically modified to manufacture organic compounds necessary in his head to grow from follicles in red plumage. And how at first they wilted, and he knew that upcoming technologies had deceived him into paying through the nose for nothing. But as the hourglass flew, and over time, and strange cutting-edge elixirs ranged his aisles at pharmacy bazaars, and spray-on tablets of coin embers enveloped his scalp when he willed, and when he had the scrap necessary to sell. Then the withered embryonal scales grew out, and he now groomed his quilted colors, airily dyed.